close. Let's talk some of the swings in today's session. We got crude oil down big. We got Bitcoin up big. Scott Bauer joins us, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Let's knock out the overnight stuff first, Scott, with, I guess they both kind of were moving overnight, but crude in particular just walloped. Is there hope for the bulls here in energy or what?
So as you know, Oliver, and we've had this discussion a lot over the last several months, I have been a sell the rip, not a buy the dip in crude because given, the geopolitical risks out there, and there was some risk premium to it, if you remove that, the bottom line is supply and demand is out of balance, right? Demand is just not there for the supply that we have. Now that ad nauseum, we have heard this all day today, why crude is down because Israel didn't go after, the energy facilities in Iran. Now we're really getting back to the trade, the fundamental trade in crude here. This level around 65 bucks or so, I actually am going to dip my toes in for a little bit of a pop back up because I think this is too much, too fast. Now, I'm still a sell the rip mentality right here because the fundamentals have not changed, but I think this could be a very time sensitive type of trade to try and buy this dip here. I really do.
All right. And I guess, we've tried to knock it below 70 bucks. It usually doesn't last for more than a day or two. So I guess you have to be nimble in the trade, though, based on recent history.
Oh, there's no question about that. And I certainly will be. I'll have my stops in, and this won't be a very long trade. And, if we get back to 70, if that happens in a day, 2 days, whatever it is, I'd probably sell it again. But I do think here that with this support that we've seen, and, support absolutely can get broken here, this could be an opportunity.
All right. Down 5.5%. It's a pretty darn big swing.
Huge move.
Yeah.
Huge move.
Does it, I'm kind of surprised somewhat. I guess I'm not because the bond sell-off hasn't really been about crude oil. But the fact they were able to sell bonds today through this, it seems like right now WTI is not part of the inflation conversation.
It is definitely not. And again, I think when you really look into the metrics here and really look into supply demand, we're producing more than we ever have. There aren't at the moment any disruptions anywhere. And oh yeah, by the way, China still hasn't recovered and their demand is awful.
True. Let's talk some Bitcoin, Scott. Is this the real deal? We're toying with 70 and it looks like the coiners are really pushing through it after basically spending a week kind of hugging that old downtrend line. Yep. Now we're using it as a pillar of support, it looks like.
So here's the real deal, and I don't think we've hit it yet. And I discussed this with Alex Coffey this morning as well. Bitcoin is set up for a massive move, one way or the other here. And I say that because we have seen just an incredible amount of consolidation. Bollinger Bands have been their tightest that they've been in 7-8 years or so, and we just have not had a lot of movement. And the few times in Bitcoin's history that we have seen this sort of contraction and this sort of lack of volatility like this, we have seen explosive moves. Now, those moves in the past have been to the upside. So if I were playing one side or the other, I would look for this to break 70 and really break out. But I am expecting a very big move over the next few days.
Wow. Odds that it's higher?
I'd go 70-30 that it's on the upside, maybe even 80-20.
Oh, juicy. Well, that's kind of the momentum behind it, right? And it's generally a momentum asset. So you want to try and fade when it's picking up momentum. Usually not the Bitcoin way. Do you think there's any relation to the election, Scott, or what's your trader instinct tell you?
I think we've seen that already. I think there's a lot of price that we've seen in there, maybe $3,000-4,000 or so on the hope of the outcome for one side that seems to be crypto, behind crypto more than the other side. That is not something that I would look to trade moving forward now. I think that's already now fairly priced in. So I would look just at this big consolidation, a breakout one way or the other. I do think it's going to be to the upside. And if we get that, we're going to hit 75 really quickly here.
Okay. So 75 we get, which would be the all-time high. Do you think it opens up a door to a new range finally?
I'm not as I'm not as optimistic, and I'm also not as Pollyanna as some of the analysts or pundits out there saying, we're going to hit 100 grand by the end of the year, 200 grand by January, February or so. It does open up a door to the upside here, but boy, we've already had quite a bounce off of where we were literally just like a month ago or so. So I think if we do break out through 75, sure, we can see a continuation. What's that continuation? I would say the 82 range, which is about a 10% move off of that breakout.
Got it. All right. Good stuff. Thanks, Scott, for the analysis.